Long time ago, in a distant village of Obio, there lived a family known as Jido. The Jidofos were wealthy and influential in the society. Mr. Jido was a successful businessman known for his charm and charisma. In fact, he was loved by his business partners and associates. Even the people that he has done business with all loved him because of the way he handled their business in a meticulous manner. He had a beautiful wife known as Amaka. Amaka and Jido had three lovely children whom they loved so dearly. They were darlings of the household, their little laughter echoing through the grand halls and innocent smiles brightening even the darkest days. The Jidofos had a maid who had been with them for almost a decade. Omalije was like a family to them. Omalije was an orphan, but worked diligently, keeping to herself. Her early life was filled with hardship, but the Jidofos loved her because of the way she treated their children and also the way she worked with loyalty and hard work. But despite her hard work and loyalty, Omalije harbored a deep resentment towards the Jidofos, especially the children. To her, they represented everything she has denied of life. She has been denied of love, of wealth and opportunities. Over the years, Omalije's envy and anger festered through and through, and it grew into a dark obsession as she watched as the children of Jido were showered with love, affections and gifts. They went to the best schools, they had the best parties. In fact, whatever they wanted, they got it. While she remained in the shadows, unappreciated and unnoticed, the more she saw their happiness, the more her jealousy consumed her, twisting her thoughts and hardening her heart. One may wonder why Omalije chose the path of, anger and hatred towards the Jidofos, knowing fully well that they did nothing to her. But Omalije harbored a secret that festered like a wound beneath the surface of her composed exterior. It happened that some years ago, Omalije's mother, Nkemdili, had worked as a maid for the Jidofo. Nkemdili was a beautiful, kind-hearted woman who had caught the eye of young Jidofo. What started as innocent glances quickly turned into a forbidden affair. How can Mr. Jidofo have an affair with the maid? It is actually a forbidden affair. Jidofo even promised Nkemdili the world. In fact, he deceived her, claiming that he was going to abandon his beautiful wife for her. But when she became pregnant with his child, the worst happened. He cast her aside, fearing that the scandal would bring down his perfect life. As a result of that, Nkemdili left the mansion in disgrace, raising her beautiful daughter alone in poverty. Mr. Jonathan neither compensated Nkemdili nor even checked her welfare, not even when she gave birth and wrote to him that she had given birth. He neglected her and abandoned her to rot away. As Omalije grew older, she asked her mother, "Where is my father?" Initially, her mother evaded the question, not until one day she opened up to Omalije. "My daughter, I was once a maiden at a rich man's home. Fate brought us together and I fell in love with him. Immediately I got pregnant for you. He chased me away from his home because he never wanted to leave his family." But Nkemdili never spoke ill of Mr. Ejiofor. Since Omalije knew the truth, the story has itched her mind thorough, whispers and tears, each detail fueling her resentment. And when her mother passed away, Omalije vowed to avenge her mother's suffering. "How can my mother be suffering and my father is a wealthy man?" She immediately started plotting her revenge. She worked so hard and managed to secure a position in the household of Mr. Ejiofor, knowing it was an opportunity to exact her revenge. Omalije's plans were meticulous. She spent months observing the family, learning their routines and gaining their trust. One day, Omalije found a box of letters in the attic, that is in an abandoned room in the mansion. Forgotten and gathering dust, there were love letters between her father and her mother, filled with empty promises and declarations of love. She took the letters and waited for the right moment. One afternoon, while the children were playing in the garden, Omalije overheard a conversation between Jidofor's wife and another servant. They were discussing the upcoming birthday of one of their sons, who was already turning 10. She wanted to host a big party for the child. The party was to be a grand affair with guests from all over the region, elaborate decoration, and abundance of food and sweets. As she spoke well about the event, Omalije's resentment boiled over. She decided that she could no longer stand by and watch these privileged children live the life she had always dreamed of. Determined to exert her revenge, Omalije hatched a sinister plan. She knew that Mrs. Jido often asked her to prepare the children's meal, trusting her implicitly. That was when an idea came to her head. This trust would be the key to her vengeance. The day before the party, Omalije visited the village witch and purchased a vial of poison, claiming that it was for pest control. The village witch never suspected that, handed her over the vial without questions. That evening, as the household bustled with preparation for the party, Omalije slipped into the kitchen and mixed the poison into the children's favorite tray, delicate pastries filled with sweet cream. She worked quickly and efficiently, her hands steadily despite the emotions swelling within her. When she had finished, she placed the pastries on a tray and set it aside, ready to be served for the party the next day. The morning of the birthday was dawn bright and clear. The mansion was alive with excitement as guests began to arrive. Their laughter and chatter filled the air. The children were all dressed in their finest clothing, their faces glowing with anticipation. Omalije watched them from a distance, a twisted sense of satisfaction coursing through her. Soon, she thought in her heart, they would know the pain she had endured all her life. As the party progressed, the moment Omalije had been waiting for finally arrived. The pastries were brought out and placed on a table, surrounded by other delectable treats. The children eagerly reached for their favorite pastries, their eyes sparkling with delight. Omalije stood nearby, her heart pounding in her chest, waiting for the poison to take effect. Minutes passed and the children continued to eat, unaware of the danger that they were in. Suddenly, one of the child, Akugo, clutched her stomach, a look of confusion and pain crossing her face. The other child, Rika, followed suit, and then the third child. Some of the children who ate from the treat were all doubling over in agony. The guests gasped and murmured in alarm as some of the children collapsed on the ground, holding their small bodies and shouting in pain. Panic ensued in the household of Jido. Screamed for help as the whole place was in chaos. Mrs. Jido screamed, her face pale with fear. Servants rushed to the children's aid, but it was too late. Within minutes, her 3 children were gone, their eyes glassy and lifeless. The joyous celebration had turned into a nightmare. Omalije watched the scene unfold, a mixture of triumph and horror wearing towards her. She had achieved her revenge, but at what cost? The sight of Mrs. Jido cradling her lifeless children, her cries of anguish piercing the air, brought a pang of guilt to Omalije's heart. She had wanted to make them suffer, but she had not anticipated the depth of her own remorse. Not quite long ago, the authorities were called, and it didn't take them long to discover the poisoned pastry, and Omalije's involvement was soon uncovered. She was arrested, but before her arrest, she made a public confession, pointing at Mr. Jido. "You are my father, and I harbor so much hatred at you for abandoning my poor mother." Mr. Jido was shocked. "Who is your mother?" That was when Omalije explained. "My mother was a maid in your house some years back. You You told her you loved her and got her pregnant. You chased her away, abandoned her to suffer. Even when she had me, you never for one day checked on us. When my mother died, I plotted to revenge her death because she died in abject poverty. Mr. Jido was shocked, and everyone in the room was shocked at the public confession. As Omal was led away in handcuffs, the weight of her actions bore down to her. The revenge she had sought had not only brought her more pain and suffering, not just to Mr. Jido's family, but to herself as well. In the days that followed, the mansion fell into a somber silence. The once vibrant home was now shrouded in grief. The laughter of children replaced by the haunting echoes of sorrows. Omal, now imprisoned and awaiting trial, had plenty of time to reflect on her actions. She realized too late that her jealousy had blinded her to the humanity of those she had sought to harm. In the end, Omal's revenge had not only destroyed the lives of innocent children, but also her own. She would spend the rest of her days haunted by the consequences of her actions, a stark reminder of the destructive power of envy and futility of vengeance. The village of hers will remember the tragedy for generations, a cautionary tale of how unchecked jealousy can lead to imaginary suffering. Thank you very much for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, please kindly give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and also turn on your post notification so that whenever I upload any new video, you'll be among the first to watch it. Thank you very much for watching, and do have a lovely day ahead. Bye bye.